Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Wisteria here. We're continuing Magic After Midnight. And they're sat on the balcony having a conversation, remember, regarding blood for, well, minerals, I suppose. She glances over at him. He's leaning sideways on his chair, the sunlight covering one side of his face. During their conversation, he'd pulled out a pair of avatar glasses from his pocket and put them on, in the hand now holding hers. He is clutching a small tube that advertises itself as titanium dioxide sunscreen for baby's sensitive skin. You don't look well, she says. He waves vaguely beyond the balcony with the hand that holds the tube. Perhaps a bit too much sun. He holds the vial up to his nose. Although this ointment is amazing. Let's get inside, Marcia says, jumping up from her chair. She waits for the tide of nausea she expects to pass, but it doesn't even come. Not letting go of her hand, Dare slowly gets to his feet. As she leads him into the living room, he stumbles on the track for the balcony door. Why don't you lie down, Marcia says. I'll call you a cab. Perhaps seeing him so feeble and in obvious need gives her energy, because as he flops on the couch, she bustles about. She doesn't feel tired at all. A few minutes later, she's downstairs, waiting for a cab to arrive, along with him. He looks so awful. She suggests a hospital, but he waves it off with a mumbled, "It will pass." The cab is just arriving when she suddenly recalls how resigned he seemed when they discussed blood banks. You don't really want to use blood banks. You find it a bit... She doesn't know what the right word is. Distasteful doesn't seem right. The word she wants is sad or maybe lonely, but she doesn't know why it fits. For the first time since they left the balcony, he smiles. What can I say? I'm a romantic. Before she can ask him to explain, he's stumbling out the door, into the sunlight, to the waiting cab, clutching his side. Marcia is still pondering it when she re-enters the apartment. Some fairy tale, Cindy says, staring at a shoe that she has just gotten back. See? No such thing as fairy tales, Alicia says. Joshua says, we're still stuck with you, too, loser. Joshua, Marcia growls in warning. She gives her eldest daughter a covert little nod. And now we're moving on to the third chapter. Marcia stands just outside the official residence of the Night Elves. A dwarven woman stands before her. The woman's head only comes up to her chin. Her face is childlike, round with enormous eyes, but she's broader than Marcia, and the tracksuit she wears does nothing to disguise that every inch of her is muscle. I'm here to see Dare, Marcia says, stamping her foot. The dwarven lady blinks up at her. You call him Dare? She says. Backing up, wide eyes going even wider. Seizing the opportunity, Marcia storms past her. Diamonds? Who is that? She hears Dare say, his voice oddly whiny. Make them go away. Madam, the dwarf presumably, Diamond says, grabbing Marcia's wrist with such force she spins round. He's not well. Leave him alone. With a move she learned in self-defense classes she took with the children, Marcia twists her wrist and shouts, Dare, I need to talk to you. Marcia, says Dare. Madame Diamonds says, I've been gentle with you, but let her in, Dare says. And she can't tell if he sounds resigned or, well, devious. Without hesitating, Marcia strides in the direction of his voice and finds herself in the living room with blinds closed to the afternoon light. He's wearing pyjamas, bathrobe, and fat, fluffy red socks that look like Elmo might have been sacrificed in order to make them. It's about 2 p.m. She has a personal day. The kids are safely at school. She's come straight from her oncology appointment. A doctor's words are ringing in her head. I don't understand it, Marcia. I think it must have been a glitch with the last scans. Or a miracle. His brow had furrowed. There had been some odd, spontaneous remissions since the realms opened. Mayor Rogers has asked to keep track of them, but those are usually blood cancers, and I'm not sure this counts. How do you feel? She feels great, which is the problem. Dare, why did you do it? What do you want? She demands. Lovely to see you too, he says, throwing a hand over his eyes. Leave me alone, I'm sleepy. You made me better, Marcia exclaims. He sniffs and replies petulantly, Made you better? Why, I never had any idea you were sick. There is a sing-song quality in his voice. He's lying. She can feel it in every inch of her body. Why did you do it? Marcia demands. Do you intend to blackmail me? Is this some sort of vampiric extortion? Do you think I might be in your debt? Because no way. Nowhere, Mr. Bloodsucker. Is he after one of her children? That always happens in fairy tales, but she won't give any of them away. Not even Cindy, who called her a black widow this morning. How nice. He sits up quickly. If I wanted you to be in my debt, there would have been a contract signed in blood before I healed you, he sniffs. Don't accuse me of incompetence. Marcia puts her hands on her hips. Her eyes begin to narrow. You did make me better. Flopping back down on the couch, he turns his back to her and curls up in a fetal position, as much as a tall man can on a skinny couch. Did not. He raises a hand and waves it with a shoo motion. Now go away. I still have questions for you, Marcia says. He sighs. Oh, bright, sunny summer days, he mutters, grabbing a pillow and pressing his face right into it. She blinks. Well, he says, are you going to ask? Get it over with. I want to go back to sleep. The last comes out distinctively, whiny. You have children, she says, remembering them without human blood vampires, or malnourished and eventually infertile. You've drank human blood, and without the benefit of a blood bank, so directly from the vein. He rolls over, so he's in fetal position, but facing her. His eyes are glinting, and she's not sure if he's magic or if that is anger. Yes, Marcia, before the realms were closed, I lived here, and I drank human blood. His nose trills flare, and she feels cold dread settling on her. She raises her hands, suddenly not wanting him to finish, but finds herself unable to ask him to stop. I was even married. Yes, me. Married to a human woman. Actually, in question. She was burned at the stake for being a witch, though. Dare continues, his eyes definitely flashing. I went home with the closing of the realms, married a vampire in similar situation, and we had 5 lovely children. Oh, says Marcia. His jaw hardens. But after our 5th, and then the miss... He takes a deep breath and rolls onto his back. She was one of those who became ill. She's gone. Oh, Marcia says. She swallows and walks over to him, as though pulled by a string. I'm sorry. He shrugs and throws his arm over his eyes. It's all a very long time ago. For the first time she notices there is a light sheen on his face. His hair tucked behind his pointed ears looks like it needs to be washed. His eyes are bloodshot. And he looks so unwell. She feels something twist in her gut that isn't disease. Why did you help me? She whispers. Putting a hand to her mouth, he sniffs. I don't know what you're talking about. Unconsciously, she draws her hand down her throat. His eyes peeking beneath his arm follow it. She sees his tongue dart out for just an instant, and then his eyes snap to hers. She knows what he was just thinking, and she knows he knows she knows. She just doesn't know what to do. Should she apologise? Or him? Or pretend she didn't see? Curling tight into a ball, Dare screams, "Gods! She has a stake!" Marcia's eyes go wide. Before she can form a coherent thought, much less a sentence, she is being hauled up and over the heads of 7 dwarfs, and she is carried away on her back. She can see Dare's back and his Elmo sock-clad feet poking out from under his robe. Next thing she knows, she's been thrown out onto the stoop. "How dare you think of hurting Uncle Dare?" Diamond says. Sitting on a butt, Marcia raises her arms as they can see her open hoodie. Where in the world would I hide a stake? Beneath the hoodie, she's wearing a form-fitting t-shirt. Below that, she's wearing yoga pants and sneakers. Behind Diamonds, one of the other dwarfs says, "I don't think she had a stake. Uncle's just not feeling well. Wonder what he used so much magic on that made him so sick." Marcia gulps. "Oh no, oh no, oh no. You're speaking English, you dopey idiot," one of the other dwarfs says. "So are you," says someone else. And then they all begin arguing in what is presumably dwarfish. Says Diamonds, and slams the door. Marcia sits, staring at the door for a long time. Dare's responsible for a miracle, and healing her made him ill. She knows it with the same certainty she knows how to breathe. She wants to do something for him, but it's obvious he doesn't want to acknowledge the gift. She rubs her forehead. Maybe it's completely opposite of what she first assumed. Maybe he doesn't want it acknowledged because he doesn't want anything from her. Well, too bad. She's giving him something. Climbing to her feet, she looks up at the sun. She used her last personal day for a doctor's visit, and she still has a few hours of free time. 2 hours and 45 minutes later, she's back at the official residence carrying her gift. It's not an expensive gift, but she does hope that it's appropriately personal. A shiny helium balloon that says "Get well soon," not "Thank you." The balloon is secured to a cute little plush bat that has a picture of the night sky on the underside of its wings. She thought it was more fitting than a bear. She knocks on the door, but no one answers. Without any other choice, she leaves the gifts on the step. Just before she's going to walk through the official residence gates, she turns to look back. The little bat and balloon look pathetically small, so little in exchange for her life. She gulps, but maybe Dare wanted it that way. Magic has touched her family's life, but she decides in honour of his wishes she won't tell. She heads home. The setting sun warms her face as she smiles. The twisted fairy tale of the family's Cinderella night had an unexpected but happy ending. Except the fairy tale, it doesn't really end there. That's my dog you can hear dreaming, guys. And that's that part finished. So the elf has cured Marcia of her cancer and made her all better. I wonder what's going to happen next. Thank you for listening and many blessings.